One sec, let me just have a sort out. It's all bright and there's a lot of exposure and everything, and it's quite horrible. Let's have a... It's a bit better. Let's move you over there a bit. Not so bad now, there's still a bit of exposure that way, but it's okay. Right, oh, let me just... Is it this side or the other side? Oh, it's this... Oh no, it isn't this side, it's this side. There we go. Step down a bit and then you can see me and my head's not cut off. Monumental, yes, you were first in. Hi there, 36 seconds. No, you were probably in about 18 seconds, so that was really quick. We got Treasure Pirate Heather, I can't even say. Thank you for your comment last week as well, Heather, on the video. It was really nice. I can't remember what it was now, but I did reply to it, didn't I? So, yeah. But yeah, so the return of the Kerching, that is, I've not got a topic again, so I thought we'll just do this. But basically, on my phone, I have had my, not my notifications turned off, but you know that little thing on the iPhone that's on the, like, sort of the top left-hand corner? You know, it's kind of, I don't know what it is. What is it? Is it to turn your phone silent, or... I think there's an actual name for it, but I can't remember the name. But it's a little switch you flick on the side, left-hand side of your phone. And I've had that switch flipped for ages and ages and ages. So every sound I get on my phone, all notifications or whatever, there's no sound basically. Oh, Electra's just come in. If you see a cat jump up on top of here, you'll know why. It's because Electra is roaming around. Don't you get on top of my computer. You know what? I think I've told you this before actually, but she jumps on my computer to get up there, because on top of those wardrobes there's a bit of free space, and she jumps on my computer, clicks the button on my computer as she's jumping up there, and then when she comes back down again, just, you know, if I do turn my computer on, I'm not that foolish anymore, but what I used to do was turn my computer back on while she was up there. She then jumps down and then turns it off again. But where's she gone? She's gone somewhere. No, I don't know, she's gone somewhere, but she was down there. But she's being a bit better now, because she seems to get a positioning of her feet when she's jumping up a little bit aside from the button. I don't know why that is, but I keep telling her to not hit the button. So it kind of makes me feel like I'm actually, there's some sort of psychic connection there, but probably not. But yeah, so, what was I even saying? So the notifications thing, right? This is how bad I'm rambling already today. Oh my god. So the notification thing. So I didn't have my Kerchings, did I? I had all my sounds off and everything, because it was annoying me. I was getting so many sounds. You know, it was like badoong, and then it was like doo-doo-doo-doo, and then it was like Kerching, and then it was like, you know, all these different sounds from different apps, and God, it annoys the hell out of me. So I stopped doing that. But then, for whatever reason, yesterday or the day before, I must have flicked the button without realising it. I don't know how. But I flicked the button, and then I had, you know, a few messages pop up, and there was sounds for that and stuff. And then I had a Kerching, and it was the first time. It was sat on here actually, sat on my printer. Because when I'm doing work on my computer, I just have my phone like sat on there. But it was the first time in, oh my god, it must be a year or more, maybe even more than a year, that I actually had a Kerching, like I actually heard the Kerching. Because normally what happens is they just pop up on my phone when I get a sale. But honestly, it was the most motivating thing I have ever had. Like I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but I've had a few. I had a really good sales day yesterday actually. I think I did 130, 140 quid, something like that, so it's pretty good. And I had quite a few Kerchings yesterday, and as I was listing and as I was doing things generally in the day, like reselling related, I had so much more motivation to do them, opposed to, you know, when I've not had the Kerching. So yeah, oh, here she is. There she is. She's getting up. She's getting up. You probably, oh, don't turn the phone off. Be good. Be good. She's probably gonna knock it over or something. But if that happens, it happens. So yeah, what was I saying? So definitely, if you have your sounds turned off on your phone, put them back on, because I tell you, the Kerching, it's motivating. It really is. Like, I didn't think it would make a difference. Like, you know, when I had it on previously, and then Oh, right, she's jumping down. When I had it on previously, and then when I had it turned off, I didn't really see that much of a difference. But now I've turned it back on again, or it's come back on, I see a massive difference, like, with my motivation. Because I actually had a Kerching, like, as I was listing this morning, and it really made me think, oh my god, I actually want to list more. And I've not actually had that feeling in a long time. Like, yeah, okay, I get every now and then, on certain days, I'll think, oh, I'm quite motivated today, I'll list a few more than I intentionally was going to list. But, you know, I've been quite, like, I've slipped into this kind of mundane feeling with reselling for a long time. And, you know, just going through the motions. You know, when you get into a relationship, I suppose, this is maybe a good analogy. First 6 to 12 months, brilliant, etc. And then after that, you get into this mundane, you know, going through the motions, etc. Maybe a bit longer than that. It's different for different people. But certainly at the 4 or 5 year mark, you're going to be, yeah, just running through the motions. And that's what it's felt like for me. So it's nice to have that little ka-ching back and think, oh, actually, I remember why I'm motivated to do this. I remember why I started this. I remember the simplicity of reselling, and that is why the buying and the selling, that is why I started this. But I think after a while you kind of lose that a little bit, and it just gets into this mentality of, oh well, I've got to get X number of stock each month, and I've got to list X number of items just to make up the numbers, you know, do enough numbers. And it gets like a bit big, and it gets a bit clunky, and it gets like, oh well, it's a bit cold, it's a bit calculated maybe, and I need to go back to more of that loving of the creative side of creating these listings, loving hearing that ka-ching, and just the whole process really, aside from the end result, you know, instead of like chasing this imaginary goal or whatever of bigger and bigger and bigger. Instead, I want to, and am, with the ability of the ka-ching, starting to fall in love with that process, you know. And I think it was an instantaneous thing yesterday when I heard that ka-ching. It was like, I remember, it all comes flooding back, why I'm so motivated with this, why I love this so much. But you sometimes fall into these kind of mundane routines where you don't love it as much, or you don't feel for it as much. Just like, I mean, it just goes in cycles really. But anyway, I'm gonna quickly look in the chat. At least I can now alternate between the Star Wars tune and Return of the Mac. Why, what's, oh god, now I have to figure out what all this chat is about. Thanks to the title, I will be singing Return of the Mac all day. You know what I thought when I what am I trying to say? Not created, but I suppose wrote the title. I thought Return of the King, you know, the Lord of the Rings thing. I thought, oh god, I bet everyone's going to think I'm copying the Return of the King thing. But, yeah, I don't know. I just thought Return of the Kerching, because I didn't have a topic again. You know what I'm like? I've done so many of these now, and I've done so many other helpful videos and tips and tutorials and entertainment videos and education, all that sort of stuff, that there's just no topic there. You know, I can't have a topic. Like, I can't have a necessarily a meaningful topic anymore without doing stuff I've already done. Like, I'm sure there's a few bits and bobs out there that I've not covered, but a lot of it from, you know, just general eBay reselling I've covered on this Thursday talk. So, and on other videos on the channel. So it's kind of like, oh, well, I've just got to get a topic, and that, you know, as I say, that happened yesterday, so I thought, oh, well, I'll just throw it on as a topic. And obviously we can have questions and stuff as well, because it isn't really much of a topic. I set my phone to make dirty sounds, then it went off in a meeting with a senior civil servant. It's never been off silent since. Oh my god, yeah. Dirty sounds, how did you do that? Like, how did you actually make it have the dirty sounds? I don't quite know the technical side behind that. Oh, I've just got a new offer. Oh, it didn't make a sound then? Maybe offers don't make a sound. Do offers make a sound? Does anyone know that? I don't know. Could do a video on Terapeak and all the other seller update stuff? I would do, but and yeah, I might do, but I mean, I'm actually trying to think of an argument against why I would do that right now, but I actually can't think of one. The only thing is, it's like Z just did that video, right, on Terror Peak. I've not watched it yet, but it's something about Terror Peak, isn't it, being free? And you know, if he's done that, I can just direct people over to his video, give him a little bit of traffic that way. If you know, if people watch my video but would like to see that video, you know, it's like there's not much point in me doing. I mean, I could do, but it's just something that's already been covered, kind of thing. It's kind of like why I'm starting to fall a little bit out of love with the sales updates and hauls, because it's so everyone's done it before kind of thing. You know, we've all done it. Like, how many years have I been doing this, and how many years have Nick and Z and all the rest of the content creators on YouTube in the UK reselling world, how long have we been doing this, and how many haul videos and sales updates have we done? It's not that I don't like doing them, but it's actually more of an internal thing of, well, you know, I want to satisfy my desire and also the desire of my viewers of actually doing some different content, something that's a little bit, maybe a little bit comedic, or maybe a little bit just different. Like, I had this idea of going on the reselling Reddit. Like, a lot of big YouTubers do this for Reddit, on Reddit, where they go on like a Reddit is it a subreddit or whatever they call it on Reddit. They go on one of them, and then they try and find like funny stuff, and like just people just being like crazy and stuff, or maybe they find memes and stuff, and then they do it for whatever topic they're covering. So I thought, oh well, that's what I could do. I could either do like a reselling meme review, or I could do like a reselling the resellers of Reddit, and then try and find some like proper angry resellers on there, and just like half take the piss out of them, just because it would make funny content kind of thing, and also I would enjoy doing it because it's something new, and people on the channel most of them would enjoy seeing it because it's something new. It's not just a whole sales update. So I went on Reddit and I found a few different things. My god, there is one hilarious one. Like, I can't remember it because it was a few weeks ago I checked out Reddit, but it was like this really long argument from someone who isn't a reseller why they absolutely hate resellers, but it was like really twisted and like really crazy. Like, I don't mean twisted in the sense of like they just hate us. Like, I mean, that person did hate resellers, but it was twisted in like a really crazy sense. Like, they were saying weird stuff. Like, I want them, I want to crush them beneath my feet, and I don't even know, I can't even remember, but it was weird stuff, and I thought, my god, that'd make brilliant content, but I've not got round to doing it, you know, I've just not got round to doing it. So but I think what made me hesitant was not however people would react, or not how I would react to doing it, but just because I don't think I saw that many of them on there. Like, I saw maybe one or two things that would be pretty good, but it's not enough for a video. One or two little pieces like that, it isn't enough. Like, you know, it's not enough meat for a video. Like, I want about 4 or 5 different pieces to really get a good video out of it. So I think that was partly the reason. But, you know, so I want to think outside the box. I don't want to just be a content creator on YouTube who's a reseller, who's just doing hauls and sales up hauls and sales up hauls. You know, I don't mind the vlogs. You know why I don't mind vlogs? Because, for one, it gives me a chance to be more creative with my editing. But for two, you're always getting some sort of slightly different content, because you never know what's going to crop up in one of my days, you know. So I might get a call from someone and go here, there, and everywhere. You know, you just don't know. Like, I might get a call from someone and they say, I've got some stuff, and I go down there and I vlog it or something, you know, so you just don't know. So I like the, I do like the vlogs, but, and that is something that is going to be more of a theme of the channel going forward. But I still do the hauls and sales updates. I love doing the hauls and sales updates. It's just, they can get a little bit boring. And it's not so much that it's mundane in the sense of it's the same stuff, because if you actually look at it, the hauls and sales updates, most of the hauls and most sales updates have different sales in or different stuff in, but it's actually the boringness for me. The boringness, is that a word, boringness? I think boringness is a word. The how boring it is for me to edit. Like, I'm on Premiere Pro and I'm just doing little cuts here and there on the haul videos, and I'm like, yeah, it's okay, yeah, I'm doing this. So the more recent hauls and sales updates I've edited, I have I've put a few different edits in them just to make my job of editing them a little bit more fun, because I just don't like mundane cuts in editing. I like doing like bold colours and, you know, different little things, tricks and tips and stuff, you know, just to make it pop a little bit more and make my life a bit more fun with editing. So, you know, I've tried to do that with a few hauls, and that's worked pretty well. So I will try and do a bit more of that I wouldn't say fanciful editing, but a little bit more editing than normal on the hauls and sales updates when I do them, maybe not on the sales updates, but on the hauls specifically. Because the sales update don't really need it, and I'd just be adding to something that doesn't need an addition to it, really. But yeah, I do want to try and... I just feel, and I've always felt this with YouTube, I just feel like there's something out there that I want to try and do that I've not thought of yet. I don't know, maybe other content creators get that. We try and do hauls and sales updates live now to save more the hassle of editing and make them more of a social hangout. That's a good idea. I could start doing that. I have thought about that for quite a while, actually, of maybe not necessarily the hauls, but more... I mean, I did hauls live for ages, didn't I? Actually, a year or two ago. Like, every car boot haul I was getting, I was doing a live stream on a Sunday. But yeah, it's like Sunday morning or something. But on the sales updates, I have thought, oh, maybe I could do them live, you know? Because there is a social aspect to it. Question, so how many videos have you done and scheduled? I have done, at this current moment, like actually published on the channel, 667. I've got about another 20, or maybe a little bit less or a little bit more, that are scheduled. And I've actually reduced the scheduling times down. So I originally had all the way up to the end of July. So you would see videos till the end of July. And that was doing 2 a week. Well, actually, what I've decided, because I'm getting too ahead of myself with YouTube, and I'm not feeling... I actually want to get back into creating content like fairly recently, like, so I create a video and then I upload it like within a week instead of like within 2 months or whatever. I don't like particularly doing that. Because I want to get back to that, I've actually shrunk down the scheduling time so that then I'm doing one every 2 days, and now I've got videos, I've got about maybe 15 or so videos till the 10th of June, something like that. So you've got videos up until the 10th of June. I've got another 7 videos on my computer, 3 of which are edited, 4 of which aren't edited. But then what I'm going to try and do is have maybe a bit of a break from YouTube the next couple of weeks. You know, maybe just do my Thursday Talks live, not do really many other videos, then catch up. Then when the 10th of June comes around, or maybe a bit more, I'm gonna be like closer to the wire, kind of, if you get what I mean. So like there's not going to be many videos scheduled in the future, and that'll give me the motivation I need to really get into some vlogs. So I'll do some reseller vlogs after that. And then obviously I do want to work alongside, as I mentioned last week or week before, about this philosophy channel that I have the idea of doing, and I'm getting to the point now where I need to do that. And you know, it needs to be something I do alongside my reselling channel. The problem with that, of course, is that it would burn me out with my reselling, with my reselling channel, with the reselling I do, with the crypto stuff, a little bit of crypto stuff I do, with now or hopefully in the future, the philosophy channel. You know, with all that, it's just too much. And then trying to fit some social timing around that is too much. So what I've decided to do when I do the philosophy channel, it's going to be, because it won't earn me any money anyway, and that's not the reason I'm doing it at all. I need videos out there on a channel that express my philosophical viewpoints on certain different subjects, right? And I just have so much passion for doing it. I really want to do it. So I've made myself the decision of, right, I'm not going to get burnt out on the philosophy channel. I'm going to do one video a week on it, and that'll be that. I'm not going to do any more on it, and it's just going to be a sideline aside from my reselling channel. And this way, it means that I can keep up the content on my reselling channel to maybe minimum 2 videos a week, which would be Thursday talks and a sales update, or Thursday talks and a haul video. Right, tell me if ads reads the chat. I know, sorry, I know I'm getting a bit rambly today. Right, I'm just going to go up the chat. I've seen a question from Nick, but I'm just going to go up the chat very quickly, just see if there was anything else. Good afternoon, ads and chat, Southwest Sellers. I'll just do a few shout-outs, I think. Oh, you want to go out? Oh, she wants to go out, I think. Maybe. I don't know, maybe she wants to sleep. It's either sleep, eat, or... Well, she wouldn't say if she wants to sleep, but sleep or... eat or food. Eat or food. Eat or out. That's what she wants. One sec. Yeah. Doesn't look like there's any questions. Left hand down a bit's in. Gemma Lou's in. Bumcrack Picker's in. I don't think I said hi to him. Yeah. Alright. Well, you can't go out now, can you? Because I'm doing this. You're just going to have to... You're going to have to bear it, aren't you? You're going to have to bear it for a little bit. Yeah. Nick said, question. Do you think you spread yourself too thin, ads? I do massively. Like, it's something I can't, I just can't relax. I can't do it. Like, even when I'm not, I said this to my granddad just because me and my granddad have very similar work ethics. Like, he openly admitted to me yesterday, like, that he can't, you know, he can't just be one of these people who sits in a chair all day and relax. Like, even when he goes on holiday, he goes on fishing holidays. So he goes, you know, he goes fishing, and that isn't work to him, but to other people it would be a form of work. Like, it's a skill. So even when he's away on holiday, he's still, in one extent, partaking in a skill, or learning, or progressing, or, you know, just doing something that is quite challenging, right? So he never, and he always is just here, there, and everywhere, just doing loads of different things. So I'm very much like that. I can't stop, and when I stop, I get so depressed. Like, I've tried stopping. Like, in the almost 4 years I've done this now, I've tried stopping reselling, or I've tried moving on to different things, or maybe just having a relax. And it's the worst time in my life. Like, I can't, I'll relax for a bit, and I will not like it. I'll be like, I should be doing something here. I'm not living my life to the best of my ability. I'm not doing what I need to be doing. I just feel like this relaxing is so, you know, is so hard. And it's, because I suppose, when you do something, like when you do anything, like when you do a job really conscientiously, in the past I've not done jobs conscientiously. I've not been, in the past, and even maybe in the present now, I'm not to the most of my ability conscientious with my reselling as I could be. But with certain jobs, I am pretty conscientious, like with my editing, or with, certainly with anything to do with YouTube, I'm very conscientious. I'm trying to get better with my conscientiousness with reselling, so bagging things up that need to be bagged up, you know, putting things away properly, because sometimes I don't put things away as properly as I should, or I didn't in the past. You know, just being more conscientious with the things I'm doing. I forgot I forgot my train of thought now. I don't know what I was even saying. If you live your life at 100 miles an hour, you can't stop and enjoy the moments. Yeah, I know, but it's like, all this stuff is my, is the moments. Like, everything, all the editing and all the reselling and all those little moments are the moments of fun for me. The work is the moments of fun for me. I just find it, like, I actually absolutely hate Sundays. Like, I get very depressed on Sundays because because it feels weird. Like, Sundays to me feel weird. Like, I can't, my mum and dad are at home, they're being very slow, they wake up at like 10 o'clock on a Sunday, which drives me mad, because then it makes me think like, oh, but I don't feel like I can get into the day because you two are in bed and not doing anything, and that means that and it makes me feel like I am lazy and stuff, and I'm like, you know, I need to do stuff, so I just love it. And the thing is, I want by the end of my life to be able to say, look, I've not necessarily have cracked the code, but that I am able to have put out there plenty of information on everything that I feel, all the theories, all the things inside my mind that I possibly can, because then you can get them out there and you can think, right, that can help people in the future, kind of thing. Yeah, it's this compulsion. And again, that goes hand in hand with this kind of theory of, if technology, it's not needed to actually put everything out there in terms of technology. Like, we don't need to, this thing of, if you don't capture it on video, it doesn't exist, kind of thing, which is complete nonsense, but people have that mentality these days. I understand that I don't necessarily need to do that, but I have this compulsion to still do it. Like, I have this compulsion even though I know that I can just live my life however I like, all the rest of it. I don't necessarily need to put loads of videos out. I don't need to necessarily put loads of theories out there or anything like that. I can just be how I am, just walking through life quite happily. But I get the happiness out of doing that, out of putting those theories out there, out of working, out of, so what is happiness to one person isn't to another, and what isn't happiness to one person is to another. And so long as you're comfortable and happy in doing what you're doing, it doesn't matter too much which you really go for. Like, I don't work all the time. Like, if I worked all the time, well, for one, I'd probably be more depressed because I would work too much. Like at the weekend, I went swimming, I went round town, yeah, okay, maybe I popped into a few charity shops, but it's not necessarily major work or anything. I go around my friend's house quite often. I do things that, I've been going to the gym, all that sort of stuff. I do things that are aside from work. But when I'm working, that's where I get most of my happiness, I suppose, because I think I'm doing something. I'm living what I need to live. I'm being who I need to be. I don't know. It's quite hard to explain, really. I do understand what you're saying, and I spent much of my life doing the same. Perhaps it's age, but these days I can appreciate taking time out. I think it is. You know what I've always said, actually? I've said on Thursday Talks, actually, some of the people who were in when I said this will remember, I said, I can't wait till I'm like 50 odd and I'm still doing Thursday Talks, hopefully. I don't know, maybe I won't, but I'll be doing some sort of something online anyway. But I can't wait till I'm like 50 odd, and then I do like live streams and stuff, and just see how mellow I am, because I really do think I'm gonna like really mellow out at the moment, and it's the same with, I said this last week, it's the same with all people, like young people, very uptight, need to do things, but then you get to an age, don't you, where after enough time has elapsed, you slowly start to mellow out, and then you get even older and older, and naturally you mellow out more and more, I think that when I'm old, I will be, I often think of myself when I'm old, and I'm like, I'm going to be who I am now, but a lot more wise and a lot more slower. So I'll still be very eccentric, but I'll be very wise with how I'm going to be very eccentric. And I'm going to be very I'm going to just trick people a little bit, be like a bit of a trickster when I'm like 70 or 75, if I get there. I'm going to be very, I'm going to dress very, not flamboyantly, but I'm going to dress very, I don't know, just I'm going to dress tricksterish kind of thing. I don't know, but I'm gonna have a real play with it. I just can't wait. It's gonna be so funny. And I'm gonna be very wise with how I use my eccentricity, because I'll be very clued up on certain things by then, even though I am now, but that's just the envisionment, I just want I don't know, I just want grey hair and to be old and to be, and I know that's really weird for a young person to say that, but it's cool, that sense of experience and wisdom that comes from behind an older face, let's say. It intrigues me massively, and that's why I do have this sense of not wanting to even wait before I get old, but then at the same time, contradictory, of course, I do want to wait, or I can wait, because, you know, if I'm old, then I'm nearer to death, of course. But, you know, I can't wait to be old in the sense that it'll be fun in the last sort of part of my life. Anyway, we'll look in the chat. See what's crack-a-lacking in the chat. Crack-a-lacking. I've never said that there. Stop doing videos for a while. Get down the pub and get pissed. No, I nearly said it then. That would have been my AdSense maybe gone. Maybe not. I don't know. Tell me if I'd read the chat. Yeah, saw that before. Don't spread yourself too thin. Yeah, I know. So many people tell me that, like, don't spread myself too thin. But can you imagine, right? Just think of this, right? All the great people in the world, like, I'm talking, like, you know, best people in the world. I don't know about William Shakespeare or anything, but that's one that's come to mind. But I'm guessing, like, Albert Einstein, maybe William Shakespeare when he was alive, but it was years and years ago, wasn't it? But, like, you know, all these great people, they all spread themselves too thin. Like, they went insane. Like, they went insane with how much they needed to figure things out. And, you know, they probably didn't wash for days and all this. And that's kind of how I want to be, I suppose, or how I kind of suppose it in one way, not the not washing, by the way, but it's kind of one way how my mentality is. Like, I want to keep going and discover these things and then put it out there to the world and let people know about these things and help people out and make them see a different side to life and a different side to existence, and, you know, all this stuff. It just is like compulsion, you know. Ever since I was 15, I always thought to myself, when I first started to hear about the apocalypse things, you know, the 2012 apocalypse things, I always thought to myself, and I got obsessed over them, as I've said before, but I always thought to myself, I want to be the guy who discovers what life and death is, or what existence is. You know how many people have said that before me? Probably about, God, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. But I believe it. That's the crazy thing. I believe I can do that. Like, I believe that maybe I can't get the exact answer. Maybe I can't say to a definitive 100% point, but I can certainly say to like 95%, I can get this. I can crack this code. And I will work. Like, my only barrier at this point is money, because if I want to work like that, I also need to get my money. So I have to do the reselling, and I have to do other things in business to get money, so then I can do my research kind of thing, or to try and, like, really do some philosophical kind of thought process and stuff. If I don't do that, then I won't be able to get the money to sustain my life. So yeah, it's a bit of an objection, that is, for me. I'm like, why do I have to have that? Why can't I do the research and stuff and do all this sort of stuff without needing to earn the money? I don't want the money. I don't need the money. Well, I need the money, but I don't want the money. I don't want the money to be a factor. I just want to be left alone to be able, or maybe with a few people, just to kind of crack this code, you know. Because that's so fun. So fun being able to create theories and try and think, oh, well, would that work, and would that work, and how does this associate with this? And, you know, it's just so fun. Oh, little electors around. Oh, what are you doing? You can't go on the camera there, that's it. But yeah, it's just so fun, and I don't know, I just can't stop from it. I just can't stop. Because I always think in the end, well, it doesn't matter anyway. If I don't crack the code, I'm going to die, and that's that, you know. So, you know, that's cool. You know, I don't necessarily worry so much about death these days as maybe I used to, because I'm so absorbed by it, you know. I'm so absorbed by all this philosophy and stuff that it's so... Did you ever start to think life is not meant to be figured out, it's just meant to be lived? Yes, I did. I've got that on my phone. It's impossible to think that the meaning of life is... I don't know what the thing is that I've got on my phone, but the meaning of life is life itself, because if there was... I don't know, but I've got the notes on my phone. But no, I've got past that, Nick. I've got past it. Like, I realised that the meaning of life was life itself, but then I realised that there's nothing I want to do more than figure out the meaning of life. So I realised that actually my life, my meaning of life is to figure out the meaning of life by living life. So, like, I don't know, it's so hard to explain. Like, it's the thing that makes me most happy in life, in terms of me living my life, is to find out the meaning of life. So therefore, that's what gives my life meaning. So in itself, the meaning for me is to find out the meaning of life. But that doesn't mean that the meaning of life is anything more than just living life, etc. The whole meaning of this, I agree, is just to live life. That's essentially it. That's like literally it. Like, all this, to me, because I subscribe to the ultimate reality, this kind of idea that we're all apertures of the universe, that essentially are just playing this big game with each other. Like, when I die, I'll just get a new body. That's what I believe, or I have faith in, I should say. And when you understand that and you realise that this life is just a game, it then gets easy to play it, because you're thinking, well, I don't need to figure it out, but I realise that me inside my personality wants to figure it out, so I'm going to trick myself into playing the game, or I'm just going to play the game anyway, just because for the fun of playing the game. Like, some people like to do engineering, some people like to do car maintenance, some people like to do, you might be a lawyer, some people like to be an accountant. That's their way of playing the game. That's their way of just saying, oh, I want to do this is what I want to do, brilliant, I'm going to dedicate my life to this, and even if I die, I'll be happy because I've dedicated my life to this, and yeah, that's I'm cool, I'm happy with that. My way of playing the game is to figure out the game. So then when you figure out the game and you realise that it is a game, you then get very depressed and you think to yourself, well, what should I do? There's nothing for me to do because it's all a game, and I may as well just sit here and do nothing. But I can't do nothing because then I'll get depressed and I won't live life and it'll be pretty boring. But then you think to yourself, well, actually no, I could play the game just going round playing the game, just to play the game, and realise that it's a game, and you walk around with this sense of, I don't know, just like not caring. You walk around like walking around everywhere, but you just don't care anymore. You're just like, it doesn't matter, it's a game. So my part of the game is essentially playing the game, realising that it's a game, and the part of the game that I'm playing is working out the game, which is a paradoxical statement, I understand, but I understand it in my own mind, so it doesn't matter so much. But yeah, it's brilliant. And then I think, right, well, next time when I wake up as another being, I'll just do something else. Maybe I want to play the game in a different way. Maybe I won't even know the game is a game anymore. It's brilliant. I don't know. I feel so happy now and so energetic for whatever I'm doing, because I understand I don't need to worry. And even if we were to say, right, that death is the ultimate end, which I can't grasp that concept anymore, because you can't have something without nothing and nothing without something, all the rest of it. But because that's polar thinking. But I can't grasp this concept of going to sleep and never waking up. But let's just say that's the truth. It doesn't matter anyway. Even if that's the truth, how is that future going to ever affect what's happening right now in this present? Like, I can do whatever I want. I can get absorbed in whatever, things I want to in life. And that will be the reality. But I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to know that now. I don't need to care about that now. I'm just going to do what I do and live the thing, the one subject or the one path that makes me the most happy, the most happy, and that is then that's it, and then when you die, you're cool, you're like, well, it doesn't matter, I've done what I wanted to do, I'm cool, but I find it very, very odd, this theory. Now, like, I used to subscribe to it massively, this theory of there's nothing after death, that's it, that's it, there's nothing, you just go to nothingness. If we're in a universe and we've been created from the universe, because that's all that's around us, the universe is the only thing around us, we are inside the universe, we have been created from the universe, right? So, your idea of a channel based on this sort of deep thought is perhaps the best idea you have had. In all seriousness, you should do it. I know, I really should. But if we've got, just think about this, if we've got the universe all around us, right? Like 90 billion light years side to side, all around us. We have been created from this world, from this natural world. We have been born out of this natural world that is within the universe, right? So you're saying to me that when you die, you go somewhere else other than the place you've been in all along. That's absolute nonsense. What will happen is your body will die, you will get absorbed back into the ecosystem, maybe the water and stuff from your body will go into the water cycle, something like that, and it's a good bet, or it's as good a bet as nothingness. It's maybe not better bet than nothingness, but it's as good a bet as nothingness, to be able to say that your consciousness will just transfer into another living thing. Now, that is a very rudimentary explanation of, I suppose, some sort of ultimate reality theory or something like that. But it seems very illogical to me that you would go anywhere else than where you already are, You would just transfer into another living thing within the universe. It just seems odd to me to think that this consciousness would go into some sort of nothingness thing. Now, it might go into some sort of nothingness, but then you may wake up from that nothingness as another conscious being. Like, for example, what might happen is your water, you die, your body decomposes into the earth, the water and all that sort of stuff from your body goes into the water cycle, maybe animals eat your flesh and stuff, and that goes back into them as energy, etc., so that's quite nice. But then what might happen is, because your consciousness has died for that period, you may be in some sort of state of nothingness, basically, because there's no consciousness. You can't be aware, there's no brain, right? But then your energy at a certain point, after it's gone through this cycle or whatever, then gets put into another living being, and then you wake up. So there's this period of, life, death, or not really death, but no consciousness, like being asleep, and then life again, right? So it's like death, life, death. And if we look at this in the universe, right? What do we do every day? We have consciousness, and then we go to sleep. Then we have consciousness, go to sleep, consciousness, go to sleep. Why should life and death be any different? Like, why? Like, life, death, sleep, consciousness, sleep, consciousness. It makes sense. My God, it makes so much sense, but people can't seem to grasp it. They're like, oh God, I'm gonna die. It's like, you might die as I might die as Adam, as the ego of what I've called Adam. But I'll just get transferred into something else. A new ego will come up. Might be called I don't know, Jonathan Price, I don't know, or I don't know, I'm just making up a name or whatever, but something like that, and then I live my life as him, and then he thinks he's all new and he's never lived before or anything, and then I live out my life as him, and he maybe is I don't know, a builder, something like that. Oh, I love this. I love this builder. I love doing this. I've got my wife, I've got my kids, etc. Then they die, and then a new one comes along, etc. And then maybe at the death of the human species, we then get transferred into other species. We just keep on living our life like that. Yes, Heather said, it would be a very lovely idea, but who knows? Yeah, exactly. The only truth in life is that we don't know. We do not know. I like to believe that, and I only like to or have faith in that because I need that. I'm a person who needs that. You know, I need to have some level of faith in something like that. Now, I do have a lot of faith in it because I see that as very natural. I mean, we look at a tree, right? And I said this quote on Insta the other day. Trees need carbon dioxide to live, right? And we need oxygen to live. It just so happens that trees produce oxygen, and we, as we inhale oxygen, we expel carbon dioxide. Now, just think about those two processes. They are the same process. We expel carbon dioxide, it goes into the tree, so that then the tree can live and produce oxygen, which then goes back into us, which then we breathe out carbon dioxide, that goes into the tree, it then comes back into us. Now this is all just ecosystems really, but that says to me that the tree and me are part of the same process. We are sharing the same energy essentially, or the same process. So yes, we are two different things, we're two separate things, but we're the same energy. That base kind of process is exactly the same. So when you look at it like that, you think to yourself, well, I must be more than this little, you know, I must be more than this ego that I've created, or this story. It's more that you are a part of the universe, and that it doesn't really matter about this kind of little ego thing. Now, yes, Heather said about the loss of the ego is a dangerous thing. It's usually the loss of the ego that's the bigger issue. The loss of the ego is, well, for one, I don't believe you can get rid of the ego, because I've tried getting rid of it, and then you get into an inflationary state of ego. But even if you were to maybe meditate for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, I don't believe you can get, you know, I don't believe you can actually get rid of it. Like, I don't think you can. I think that you have to go with it. You have to just be, you know, you have to just get with your ego, I suppose. Just be with it. So I abandoned the quest to get rid of my ego, and I am just an ego. In some circumstances I'm selfish, some circumstances I'm selfless, some circumstances I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad, etc. I just go with it, you know. So yeah, loss of the ego is a very, very big issue. But what you can say is that people think that their ego, people think that they are their ego. Maybe we are not. No, really, we're just this story. But what will confirm whether the ego exists or not will be neuroscience. So when in, you know, the future, they can actually pinpoint if the ego has some sort of physical presence within the brain, or there is some sort of process that goes on that relates directly to the ego, then that's what will give us a clue to actually say, well, the ego exists completely or not. Now, we can even say that what I like to believe about the ego is that it's a game. So we all have egos because this is the best way of having fun, basically. Imagine if we didn't have egos, how boring it would be. Like, it would just be like we're, like a lot of animals, they do have a sense of consciousness that is, could be relating to the ego, or could be called the ego, but they don't have the same level of self-consciousness that humans do. And with that being said, it's kind of like, you know, this kind of, it would be kind of boring just to be in, you know, in a species that doesn't have that level of self-consciousness, because, or not self-consciousness, but just this level of self, this intelligent level of self, because it's more fun. So what I believe is that we developed these egos in terms of the universe created species more and more advanced to be essentially like to have more fun. We have to have more fun with life, to have more fun with itself. So we have these egos just to bounce around and have a laugh and stuff, and then we die, and our egos die with us, of course. But that's the only thing that dies, really. If we understand that ego is simply just some sort of way communicating with people, but also a way in which to live life more holistically, I suppose. And it's simply just a front. It's just an actor. It's just a character that you use to bring your life more joy, right? If we understand that, then when we die, we can think, well, I let you go. I let my character go. I let ads go. I let whoever else go. And then, the next one, if I get the next one, if I do transfer into something else, then I'll be happy to do that and just ride out my life as that new person, and just it keeps going. And it's this beautiful playing of energy kind of thing. But I don't know quite how to describe it any differently really. But it's absolutely brilliant, But the only thing we can say is that life is what's here and now. We can't define anything more than that. Humans need to create the idea of the afterlife as the thought of our existence being finite and futile is hard to accept. Very true. That's exactly it. And that's why we invented religion, because so many of the human race need to believe something in order to follow, in order to function in life. Yes, but when we see that actually we are part of the universe, we can start to understand that actually this nothingness concept is just as worthy of note as something like this kind of consciousness idea, like where you just get transferred into another aperture of the universe, I suppose. It's kind of, they're both on the same wavelength, just because in the Western culture we are a very scientific culture. So, and the general scientific view really is that nothing happens after death. And we've kind of become this kind of very mechanical society whereby we automatically believe that's all that can be. It's nothing. There's nothing after death, etc. I can't quite accept that anymore. I did accept that for a while, for few years, but then when I started looking into Eastern philosophy and really dug down into the bare bones of what the universe is and what my energy is a part of the universe, it lets you know that really you never die. Like, yes, you might be in unconsciousness, but energy and this is scientific fact, energy can never be destroyed. It can only be changed. That's scientific fact. So if that's the truth, if energy can't be destroyed, then I never die. My energy never dies. I might die as Adam, as this ego and even this body, but my energy will always remain in the universe. So that's one thing that we can say that's pretty goddamn close. That's like 95% close to the truth, We can never really define the truth 100%. It would be damn near impossible, really, but that's 95% as close as you're going to get. So then you think to yourself, well, if I am this energy, or this energy that's possessed me to animate me, to make me talk and to walk and etc., what actually will happen? Will that energy go into something else? Will that energy actually transfer into another creature at some point? Or will I be in this nothing, this purgatory or whatever, forever, what's going on? Which is which, It's like, to me, they both have very good validity. Like, yeah, it is the case that energy might just dance through the universe and you be in unconsciousness forever, which is essentially just like death. But there's also quite a valid theory to be made for the fact that energy might go into something else. It might form another sense of consciousness or another center of consciousness that then you use to experience life with, So it's hard, it's very, very hard to, life is the most amazing gift, with being born into the human race being a lottery win. That's true, yeah. I mean, someone said, I think it was Gary Vee who said the odds of becoming human or whatever, but it's, it's so interesting though to me, Differently, my ideal place to gain resource knowledge. Why? What did you say? Did Deal City say something else up the chat? I'm back. What are we talking about? Random life and death, I suppose. Accepting that death is actually the end is powerful. We have one shot. This is not a rehearsal. Make it count. Yes, but I like to think, right, that life is that. I know I'll get you out in a minute. I'm going to go in a sec anyway because it's 54 minutes. She wants to go out. So I like to think that it is that on one plane, but it's not that on another. So I like to work and be intently and really focus on what I'm doing and really get into it. But at the same time, I like to think that, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'll just get another body. You see what I mean? So I like, because I love Doctor Who and I love the concept of regeneration and stuff. So I think, right, on one plane, I'm going to think, like, this is my last day on Earth and I'm going to really go for it like hell and I'm going to do all I can and I'm going to enjoy it with the most intense passion that I can, because that's how life should be. You should enjoy the moment. You should be present in the moment. You should be really focused right there and then. But on another plane, to give myself some level of spiritual happiness, I suppose, you sounds like having your cake and eating it to me. Yeah, you can. I mean, I just like the idea of I like the idea of everything being true. Like, I would love it. I would love no more than if all the gods of all religions and all science and everything was all true together, and it was this one myriad of energy and pleasure and pain and consciousness and you see what I mean? Like, all this stuff going on, like different universes and different worlds and different dimensions and different, all this stuff, that's like all folding in together and is in complete beautiful harmony with one another. That's what I really like the sound of. But yeah, I get it. It could be considered like having your cake and eating it, but that is the best way for me. That is the best way for me to kind of live. Saying that I'm immortal and I'm mortal at the same time. So I'm like, I'm a universe, but also, and I'm immortal as an energy, as a form of energy, but also this version of me, this body, is mortal. So you're both immortal and mortal at the same time. And although this body isn't going to make it, maybe something else will. And that's my kind of philosophy of enjoying life, and that's why I like mysticism so much and spirituality and stuff, because it's just so attractive, so alluring, and just so I just love it, rub my hands together like woo, but you have got to realise that if you live in the plane of consciousness of mysticism or spirituality for your entire life, you then don't partake in the thing that really you should have been partaking in, which is ordinary consciousness of life. If you walk around feeling light of an air all the time and just laughing to yourself all the time because you're in a state of, I suppose, mystical experience or something, it then is like, well, yeah, okay, but you're not really here, are you? You're just like bumbling around like goo, I suppose, or whatever. I don't know, but so you've got to. That's why I like to mix them. I like to have a little bit of mysticism, a little bit of kind of spirituality, and I like to have a bit of ordinary everyday existence and stuff. I mean, I can't choose when I have a mystical experience or when I have a spiritual experience. That just comes. It's a thing that just comes on. But I like to dip in and out of these things because it's more of a holistic view of life, I suppose, and this is why I like to look at different religions, because I like to get a holistic view of life in terms of different religions and atheism and existentialism as well and things like that, and all these different philosophies of life. I like to get a holistic view so that then I can combine what I like out of them and define some sort of natural philosophy for me, in which I can feel some sense of security, but also some sense of just general happiness in my own life. But security in one way comes from insecurity, because once you start to accept the insecurities you have, you start to become more secure with those insecurities. So, as Nick was saying earlier on, the acceptance that death is the end is powerful because, like, for example, if you were to able to accept that insecurity that you're mortal, really accept it, like really think you're not gonna wake up, that's it, that's the end, you're done after this, you can really start to be secure with your mortality, because you're then thinking, oh right, okay, well I get that, I've deeply discovered that, I've been able to really understand that mortality as best as I can understand it in this lifetime anyway, without actually experiencing it as death. But I'm really on board with that, or I've really accepted it, so now I'm pretty secure to live. And at any point, if you want to take me, if any point, if there's anything out there and you want to, or if at any point I have a car crash or I have this or that, take me, like, I'm done, I'm like, that's me, kind of thing. So that's how I live my life. Like, I'm like, right, I don't know whether I'm going to die today, so I'm going to do what I can, and then I'm going to walk around, and if something happens that's awful, and there's nothing I can do to prevent my death, then at the moment before my death, I'm just going to be like, right, I let go to you, and I'm going to fade out. And I believe, and I've maybe said this before, I think I did actually a few weeks ago, that if you have this sense at the point before your death of saying, I let go to you, I surrender, I truly believe that your death will be less painful, or maybe not less painful, but less uncomfortable for you, because you've given up. You know that there's no way out of this, so you've given up. You said, right, okay, and then you fade out, you see. I believe that, I really do. I mean, okay, it depends on the circumstance. If you've had a really horrific death, and even though you do let go, it's still going to be pretty painful. But I really do feel like there's going to be something there that you can let go, But anyway, I'll leave it there because Electra wants to go out. She's been crying like crazy, hasn't she? But I like getting to the hour, and she's been meowing. Oh, Power Resigns in, hi there. Make sure you let the cat out first, Dad. I know, I'm going to let her out now. But actually, before I go, show of hands, about this philosophy channel that I've got going. Obviously, I need to do a philosophy channel because I've been talking about philosophy on here for like 5 weeks or whatever it is now. But if I did, because I know I've done a lot of channels in the past, and I know I've promoted them on this channel, and then I end up not doing the channel, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'll get bored with it or whatever. Case in point, I tried to do a Doctor Who channel, and I didn't have the motivation to do it after like 1 or 2 videos. I did my Ads Invest channel, and after about 3-4 weeks, I had no motivation and stopped it. So there's a good chance that if I do a philosophy channel, I might end up stopping it. But if I did, and I promoted it on here, would there be any interest? Even if there would be only, 10, 20 people or whatever, if you're watching this back on the rerun, drop down below a comment if you would like to see the philosophy channel. And then I will promote it on here, maybe in the form of a video, I don't know. But, because that'll help me out in terms of getting a few subscribers over there kind of thing, and getting at least a couple of people to watch me. But yeah, I need an outlet to talk about it. I'm not going to say to you guys that, oh, I'm going to put a load of effort into it and I'm going to stick with it for ages, because I don't know. I'm being quite honest. I don't know, I don't know whether I'm going to stick with it. I really don't. And I'm being genuinely honest with that now. Like, when I said about the Ads Invest channel, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to stick with it, it's going to be brilliant. I am being honest with you. I do not know whether I'm going to stick with it. I do not know whether I'm going to get all the facts right in the channel or anything. I don't know whether I'm going to progress with the channel or anything. I don't care about that. I need to do it. And if there's anyone who watches, I will be incredibly grateful. And it lasts for however long it lasts. If it lasts for a day, it lasts for a day. If it lasts for a year, it lasts for a year. If it lasts for 10 years, it lasts for 10 years. But I do need it. So a lot of people, I think, are saying in the chat there, go for it. So when I do it, I will obviously maybe put a video on here, maybe mention it at the start of a video or something. Just be looking out for it. I might put it, no, you know what I might do? I might put it does everyone know on a YouTube channel where that community tab is? So facts are overrated, says Quiz Adolf. Adolf? Who's Adolf? I don't know. But no, so does everyone know where that community tab is? Because what I might do is drop it in there, and then people can go over and sort of look at it on there. But it will be mainly Eastern philosophy, Eastern religion, things like ultimate reality, polar thinking, all this sort of stuff, you know. So, and my own theories on the expansion and contraction of the universe, because I've got a good theory on that. I've got a bloody good theory on the expansion and contraction of the universe. I've got it on my board up there, actually. But yeah, so I will do that. So if everyone knows that, then I will, yeah, I will drop it in there or something. Yeah, do it, ads. I don't watch enough tube, so always like to watch more. You don't watch enough YouTube? I thought you were like the most prolific watcher of YouTube videos ever, so I don't know about that. Don't know how you can get bored watching my handsome face, right? Oh, right. I'm just going to quickly look up the chat. I heard you got kicked off last night, Nick. One sec, right, I'll have to go in a sec. There must be a market for it though, ads. Other resellers might not see the need for it, but there is bound to be a bunch of people who would love to hear your talks. Maybe. Right, anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you very much for everyone's support. I definitely need to do the channel because I got like this with crypto because, you know, where I just talk about on Thursday talks, and I don't want to bore everyone with this. I did try and talk reselling today. I did some reselling talk, but I think that a good thing is, if I do this philosophy channel, I've got all my outlet for my philosophy over there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm not promising anything again, but fingers crossed, that might make me a little bit more prone to talking a bit more reselling on this channel, so it might be a bit of a good move. Saying that though, with the crypto channel, I didn't do that anyway, and I still kept talking about crypto, so anyway. I don't want to talk about crypto that much anymore though, but if you want to, then you can. There was actually reselling talk. Yeah, I think there was at the start, about 10 minutes or something. But yeah, I don't talk about crypto anymore that much, so that's a progression. I am still doing it. I still love crypto, but you know, it's the bear market, so it's a bit annoying at the moment. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I will see you very